Good morning, it's day 3 on Iceland, my road trip. I was in the car last night just because I got back from the hike that you saw me on around about 12, half 12, and by the time I put everything away it was quite late, so I just kept in the car where I was. I didn't bother getting up for sunrise just because the weather was so bad, but I looked at the road up here again this morning. I wasn't going to drive it, but there was about 3 cars that came up quite early this morning with their 4-wheel drives, and I thought I'd give it a try just to see if I could do it. It's actually not too bad as long as you take it really slow, and you have to kind of swerve around a lot of the big potholes and kind of drive between some rocks and things like that. There's one bit which is quite steep. I thought it might ground out, but it's actually not too bad, so I managed to get up here, and I spent about an hour and a bit up here, but the weather is absolutely atrocious. It's worse than yesterday, it's so windy. But it did actually clear just enough for about 10 minutes ago to get a bit of light in the sky. I didn't bother vlogging it because it's so windy down there. You wouldn't have been able to hear anything I said. It was raining as well, quite a lot. So I kind of wanted to get up here this morning just because the shots I had yesterday, they were quite late and it's quite overcast, and the white balance on some of the images is quite bad. I've managed to correct it a bit in post, which you would already seen those images by now on probably last week's vlog. The only problem I'm going to have with it was raining, so I couldn't use any filters, and I couldn't use a polarizer or anything like that, so the waterfall is not going to have much smoothness in it. It's not going to be a long exposure, but they should come out right. I'll stick them up in a minute anyway. I'm going to head down to back town onto the main road now, hopefully get away from the bit of the wind, so I'll catch up with you at the next location. It's quite late in the day now. I've come to Seljalandsfoss or something like that. Yeah, Seljalandsfoss. That's about as close as I'm going to get. I've not vlogged up there, it's just too busy, it's absolutely manic. It's not a very photogenic waterfall, I don't think. You can get quite a few nice spots, but you get too much water on the lenses and stuff like that, and it's a bit of a nightmare. What you can do is you can go up the cliff. You can just see this slope here. You can kind of, I'll never do that. There you go. You can walk up there a bit, but you're not really meant to. It's roped off, it's very slippery. I did manage to get up there, probably shouldn't have done, but get some shots. So I think they're going to be the better ones. I went underneath it, and yeah, you can get some nice shots. You really need a really wide angle lens. I think, to be honest, you probably need to do pano stitches under there or something like that to get the kind of whole rock kind of cave facing and the waterfall. And it's just too misty to do anything long like that because it's going to end up getting quite bad. Because it was so misty on the lens, I couldn't use any filters until I did some shots at the end, which was kind of on this side of the falls, which was kind of away from the wind. The wind wasn't blowing into it then, so you weren't getting any of the mist on it. Top tip, if you're going to shoot a waterfall like this that's quite big and you've got a lot of wind around it, shoot first from the way the direction, or you want to shoot the way the wind's going, so all the spray is going to be carried away from the waterfall from the wind. So stand back, shoot into the waterfall with the wind going away from you, and that will keep the spray out. Get all those shots done first. That means your camera's going to be dry, your lenses are going to stay dry, and it also means that your camera's, because it's going to be dry and not have the water in there as long, it's less likely to break from water getting into it. You potentially, if you do your shots at the end that your camera's going to get wet, then you're not kind of having the camera out in the conditions for as long as such. The other tip, use something on the lens that's see-through to set up all your shots, and then just take it off when you're ready. So all I did is I put a polarized filter on there, which got absolutely drenched, but it meant I could set up the scene, I could focus it, do everything I needed to do, get my exposure time right. Polarizers don't really cut too much light out, so you could kind of do your settings roughly with it on, and then once that's set up, just whip it off and quickly take the shot. So I've done them and I managed to keep mist off the lens most of the time. Yeah, I think they're going to come out okay. It's one of those things really, I think if you kind of hike right to the top of the cliff and you were to shoot it around sunset, I think you could get a nice image. But as it is during the day, with kind of being restricted to the lower parts, it's a cool thing. You can walk behind it. It's you know, quite a force of nature, but not sure it's the most photographic one around. I'm going to go to Skogafoss now, which is just literally 20 minutes down the road. So I'll head off there now and I'll catch up with you in a moment. Right, I'm down at Skogafoss. Here it is. This waterfall is awesome. I really like this. I'm going to spend some time here trying to get some different shots. The light's not the best, to be honest, but it's quite nice, this waterfall, because you can come really far back and kind of look right down into it and get some kind of long range shots on it, kind of longer focal lengths, which means you get away from all the spray and stuff like that. So I'm going for a super long exposure now, really long. I don't normally like doing massively long exposures with waterfalls, but I want to try and get rid of some of the people by doing a really long exposure. Any movement in people, as long as they're not standing there for too long, should hopefully remove them from the scene. If they're in there at all, it'll just be a bit of a ghost of them, and it should be a bit easier to remove them. I've got a 10-stop leaf filter on and my hard grad filter pushed all the way down again, which you'll probably see I do a lot. And that give me, on bulb mode with a shutter release on, an ISO of 50 and an aperture of f9. That has given me a whole 8-minute exposure time. So that's going to be a massively long image, 440 seconds I need. Yeah, so it's busy doing its thing now. I've come quite low on the water here, just to kind of try and add a bit more interest in it, really try and get a bit of water in the left hand side of the image and with the rocks on the right. I don't know how well it'll work, but it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what a 4-minute exposure this looks like. It's going to be quite funky, I think. Yeah, so going to be doing that. I'll probably get a bit closer and do some portrait shots any minute. That's about all to be said about it, really. Awesome thing. If anyone's ever seen the film Vikings, or the programme Vikings, which is absolutely epic, it's one of my favourite things I've ever seen. This is the falls that Floki goes to when he kind of appears on the island. So yeah, epic place. Really amazing these are. Yeah, I'll catch up with you in a minute when I've got some shots done anyway. sorry about the wind, sorry about the shake. No gimbal again, I'm in too much of a rush. Hopefully you can hear me through the wind noise. I think I'm about half a mile away from it now. I can't see the plane crash yet. You got to go down this gravel track for probably, I think it's about 4 kilometers. I've been doing a mixture of running and walking. There's quite a few people coming down to look at it actually behind me. I think it's going to be really busy down here. There's about 10-15 cars in the car park, which I was not expecting at all. A bit of history about it anyway. It might be too busy down there to vlog with. I'm going to try and concentrate on getting the images. It's a 1973 DC US Navy plane that crashed. It crashed in 1973, and apparently it ran out of fuel. Apparently the pilot switched to the wrong fuel tank by accident. Nobody was injured or nobody died anyway, and they've just kind of left it here. So. Right, I'm down at the plane, which forgive me, I look pretty tired and knackered, it's really cold. Here it is. It's really awesome actually, it's a lot better than I thought it'd be. You can get some really nice pictures of it. The light never happened, but we've got these nice clouds with a lot of definition in them, which I've been doing some long exposures with. I'm gonna start heading back in a minute because these ones over here are very dark and full, and it's just going to start raining again. I'm not going to go into it too much. I'll just run through the shot that I've been doing from this spot. I've taken loads of different shots, and this one, this location or this composition is definitely my favourite. What I'm doing with it is, again, it's a bit tedious, but I've got two grad filters on this, so I've got a hard grad and a soft grad. Hard grad's just been used as weekend D, and the soft grad is just bringing some of that sky down. I've got it in bulb mode, shooting at an aperture of f/18. It's a bit too high, that aperture. It's going to make it a tad soft, probably in the corners and stuff. But I want to get that kind of longer exposure, and I have to go to a high aperture as well. I don't want to put the 10 stop on because it'll be overkill. That has given me various images. So if I shoot at an ISO of 50, I've been doing 2-minute exposures. If I shoot at an ISO of 100, I've been doing 1-minute exposures, and I've been doing a lot of 30-second exposures as well. So a bit of a mixture. The 2 minutes are making the sky go silky smooth. Bit too much really. The 1 minute seems to be about right, and this is what I've done at this location, a 1-minute shot. So it's a really, really cool plane actually. I love stuff like this because it's old history. And just look how it's made. I mean, look at the pulleys. They're made of Bakelite. I don't know why they made a Bakelite when they didn't make them out of metal, but that's basically very early plastic. But you've still got a lot of the old controls here. Like you can see, it's all kind of cables and loads of cables down here, loads of pulleys. There's a metal pulley here. But yeah, really cool to look at. It's inside, a bit dark now, but yeah, it's a really cool location for it to land. I mean, it's this bright kind of aluminium silver colour against the black sand. Yeah, really, really, really cool thing. I'm not going to jabber on too much anymore. I'm going to call it kind of quits now. Tomorrow should be a mixture of a few locations, probably some around Vic, maybe Diamond Beach if I get that far over. I'm not sure yet. I'll see how it goes. I might have a bit more of a chill day tomorrow, do less driving. I'll stick the images up from here. Gonna get back now. It's really cold. I've got a half an hour, 45 minutes walk. Got about 3.5 kilometers to go to get back now, so I'll call it quits. Hope you found today's vlog interesting. It's all about the shaky camera all day. It's me not using the gimbal. and I'll catch up with you on the next one on day 4, I believe.
Yeah.